one major problem for the police is something called bail. Well, I'm always told that is a constitutional right. That thing is a mess. That thing called bail is a mess. You know, you go to Chembisa, you find a guy called BP. BP had 43 cash heists and 5 bails. 43 cash heists and 5 bails.
43 cases or 43 alleged?
43.
Alleged cases.
No, he takes the money. Maybe it's not alleged if he doesn't take your money. But, well, he's arrested now. But he has been arrested and getting bail, arrested and getting bail, and arrested and getting bail. So, police get frustrated with that. One major frustration was a guy called Ntuli, not this one. Ntuli is accused number 5 in the case of
Meyiwa.
Senzo Meyiwa.
Yeah.
Ntuli, as we speak, he's doing 6 life sentences. He was found guilty and sentenced, but got an appeal, or got the right to appeal, and given the bail. When he has been found guilty and sentenced to 6 life sentences, still given the bail. And some of the people that he went after are those that gave evidence against him for him to get life. This is a bail, animal called the bail. So it's a problem for the police, but we're told it's a constitutional right. The second one will be non-cooperation of maybe prosecutors.
But just to pause there, it's a constitutional right, yes, because when you apply for bail, it's still just an allegation against you. Now, of course, we've got the chapter 6 where it's murder, rape, robbery. Then the onus shifts to the defense, to the accused. But ordinarily, you've got a right to bail unless the state can show that you're a flight risk or that you're likely to commit the crime again, etc., or that you're a danger to the public. But what we need to understand, is the problem bail, or is it because, for example, the cartels and the which seems to be suggested by Judge Tulari in his judgment, like the 28 gang, 27 gang, big here in the Western Cape, that they've infiltrated also the prosecutors and the magistrates. Is that part of the problem, or is that not the problem? Or is it a problem that bail is too readily?
And the judicial officers.
And the judiciary.
Yeah. And
the judiciary at first instance, very rarely, they hear bail appeals, but they don't, you don't go to a judge to get bail unless it's during the middle of the night.
I think Mlife's one was held by the judge, eh?
What's that, General?
TK Mlife one was held by the judge.
Yeah.
And they granted it.
Well,
okay. So I'm saying it is rare, but it does happen. It's a problem. I'm not a lawyer. I hear there are Schedule 6, there are Schedule 5, that if you repeat and all that, lawyers can talk on that. But I'm saying, if you are going for cash heist, you prepare. Part of your preparation for cash heist is to eliminate whoever is on your way. So you don't carry the broomstick. You don't carry the yellow dust. You carry things that will give you an upper hand in dealing with that. Hence, police die. Now, you go for the first cash heist with all those things. You go for the second one, you got the bail. You go for the third one, you got the bail. Is a constitutional. I'm not denying that. But what about the police? That they arrest this person and they still have to encounter the same person on the field and they exchange fire again. The third time they encounter and they exchange fire again. What about those? It is not the magistrate or the judge that exchange fire there, or the police. Maybe it's unfair, maybe it's a constitutional, maybe it's a legislation thing, but it is a problem for the police, that kind of thing, especially those serious cases. Many people that rape and kill are on bail. People that maim, rape, and kill after they've been given the bail for the same thing. So I'm just making the point, I'm not talking about changing or right or wrong, but from the side of the police, that will be the problem. So what Mkhwanazi is saying is not the first time. Hence, it will be important that those things are investigated. But the other thing that would have been there are police officers, many of them, that have been arrested before Mkhwanazi made the statement, which then confirms the case that there are police that are corrupt. But there are prosecutors too. You see, especially this province, there are prosecutors that they say they can't give that. If you say enroll the case or you get the warrant of either arrest or what, they say, no, I'm not going to put my job on jeopardy. Here, there is an interesting case here where the warrant of the search warrant was given to search one gentleman called J.P. Smith, his premises. But the very same magistrate who gave that, when it was taken to court, he refused to give the evidence that indeed I did. So that is that fear fact that Judge Turan is talking about. So sometimes I get worried that this process concentrates on police when the allegation by Mkhwanazi was across the justice, when the pronunciation by the judge was across justice. But I do find that the concentration here is on police, and let other people go. Let's see, the biggest crime in South Africa is planned in prisons. There where the real planning takes place, in prisons. I hear less about that. You see, we arrested one guy here called Barra, where he was shot and killed with the exchange of the police somewhere in Eastern Cape. Barra was a young man of 30 years, and he was charged with 19 dead bodies. He was 30 years himself, was a teacher by profession here at Kailish. He was charged with 19 dead bodies. Were arrested, taken to Polsmo. He was found in Polsmo with 30 live ammunition, bullets, in prison. I'm sure he did not walk with them there. I'm sure it's not other prisoners. It's somebody that brought those things. We're told he was waiting for the gun, which means he was going to use. So that chain, for me, I find it limited here to police. When there is this problem from the very beginning, which is the police, to the very end, which is the correctional service.
Yeah, that's what General Mkhwanazi also, he includes correctional services.
I hope somebody will look at the correctional service. How do they communicate? If you go to any correctional center today and you take cellular at 11 and you go there at 5, you'll find the new ones. You'll find the new. Who bring them? And those cellular, they don't walk there. That here we are, phone. Somebody brings them there. And who is that? You see, we are phoned from prison. This guy phones me. He doesn't tell the name. He says, Cele, Ndos, he called me Ndos. phone from somewhere in Escort. There are 3 people that are ready to go and kill Nkosi at Ulundi. They are having 3 AKs. They are in this lodge. He called by name. I phone Mkhwanazi. I say, Mkhwanazi, there is this thing. This guy refuses to tell you. Mkhwanazi goes there, he finds exactly that. He finds exactly that. 3 AKs, 5 of these guys there, ready to go and kill Nkosi. There was an exchange of fire. Some of those guys died. He finds exactly that. This information comes from prison.
Okay, General, I'm sure you can give other examples, but you seem to confirm General Mkhwanazi's statement in that regard, that the correctional services is also infiltrated. And we know that from the now pretty notorious case of Thabo Bester, where you organize your own escape and you leave a body in your cell. But let's move on from there. Let's talk about the when you were appointed minister in 2018, and then the establishment of the interministerial committee.
Chairperson, there has been a problem in KZN of political violence en masse, but after elections, it was some sort of organized kind of, and then the people were dying, especially at the level of local leadership, politically, and also the councillors. I've listened to say that it was more of the ANC councillors. No, it's across the board. Quite several of the NFP, ANC, IFP, even the EFF, DA, as we speak now, we're dealing with it. Those that are dealing with it, I left when they were dealing with it at Mbofana. The councillor that killed the family stood outside and banned the whole family and said his house has been banned. And I'm sure that guy didn't know that there's something called forensic. And the forensic discovered that he has done it, he has been sentenced and all that. It's happening. So, President visited the murder scene of Kashana Mkhunu, who was a councillor there in Maritzburg. And from there, he made a call on the ministers of, I guess, were 4 ministries. That was police, defense, justice, this was together with the correctional service, and state security. So he says the ministers of these ministries, for me, interministerial is made by ministries rather than ministers. That's my understanding. That interministerial is made by ministries. Why so? Because those ministers immediately went to KZN. Was a Minister of Police, Cele, was a Minister of Justice, Masuta, was a Minister of State Security, Duba, the time was a Minister of Defense, Mapisa Ngagula. And then when the elections came, and then there was a Minister of Police, and there was Minister of Justice, who's not Masuta now, but Lamula. There was a minister later, Mdise, and there was initially, there was only a deputy minister when it comes to state security, who was Zizu Godwa, and later Ntshabeni came on board. So they continued with the interministerial because these ministries were there. So interministers is ministers that move, but ministries, they stay there, and whoever is there continues. That's how I understand it.
So what was the mandate of the interministerial committee?
The mandate was to go to KZN, specifically, sort the political violence, the matters that were taking place there, which were quite bad. Almost every week, a political figure was dying there. So was to go there and sort that thing, investigate, arrest, prevent, and stabilize the province. So when we went there, there was a committee, or there was some sort of a team that was provincially working there, led by General Cele, and then there will be Brigadier Makashalala, who is here in Western Cape now. There would be Chiga, who was a head of intelligence in KZN. We sat there as this interministerial. We were given the report. We all agreed, without taking it further, that there is a zero work on this death that is happening here. So we had then, according to the interministerial, try to start something better. So different ministers had to work on their departments. I remember that there was a big meeting of officials that was called. I can't remember, but Dr. Kulube was in defense, were there. I think the DG of Justice were there. The DG, National Commission or Provincial Commission of Correctional Service were there. Those officials, they had to go and hash the plan and report to the interministerial. How are they going to do what the interministerial, under instruction of the president, had to do?
So it was a multidisciplinary team that was going to be established.
Indeed,
from different departments.
Exactly so, exactly so. But most prominently would have been the police and prosecutors, because prosecutors had to direct the investigations. But one department that is not mentioned now and again that played a prominent role was correctional service. Why correctional service? Because people arrested, they still gave direction from prisons who to eliminate and all that. The only cutoff was to take people to Kokstad, so which is a prison where you can't communicate with anybody. So the Minister of Correctional Service had to make the way and open that most of people that are arrested under this killing must be taken there. The other thing that was requested there, these cases were delaying, so was if we could get the special courts to deal with them so that they're gone through and then people are arrested and all that. So these departments were really working together, from the ministers to the top officials and down to the real team that was working down there.